Well, greetings again, ladies and gentlemen. Daniel E. Cohran here for the Philadelphia Standard. This is a publication, or production rather, of the Church of God. Well, if you need a title for today's message, I really have two titles. I have a short title for the sake of typing it out in title spaces on the internet. So the short title will be The Real Mystery of the Ages. The Real Mystery of the Ages. But the long title, which is really what the subject is about today, the long title of this is, Do Men Have the Authority to Edit or Alter the Writings of Mr. Herbert W. Armstrong? Do men have the authority to edit or alter the writings of Mr. Herbert W. Armstrong? So that's basically what this title is about today, and it does involve this book, Mystery of the Ages. I don't have the original cover on it, but it is Mystery of the Ages. This is the original hardbound edition from the early 1980s. And also, this message concerns Mr. Armstrong's book, The Incredible Human Potential. It also includes this book, Tomorrow, What It Will Be Like, The Wonderful World Tomorrow, What It Will Be Like, by Mr. Armstrong. And also many other publications and books and booklets. So what this is about is that men today are editing these books, and of course many of them are writing their own books and booklets. You can go to any number of Church of God websites out there and see where some of them may have some of Mr. Armstrong's writings or publications, and they have a huge, vast majority of their own publications. They're rewritten, basically, the truth. But this specifically what I want to point out today on these three books is that there is one group in particular, but there are many groups. This is not to isolate anyone in particular, but you can find people all over the internet offering Mystery of the Ages, a hardbound edition, and I have to tell you that it's not the original version. It's been edited and altered and changed, and so you need to be aware of this, because in essence it has made these books worthless or of no effect. And why do I say this? Well, would the original author, Mr. Herbert Armstrong, would he have made these changes to these books? No. And when you see the reason why these editing and changes have taken place, and you begin to see there's an ulterior motive involved. So, but before I do touch on those, I want to read something pertaining to Mystery of the Ages from Mr. Armstrong's autobiography, Volume 2. And it's a letter that he wrote about Mystery of the Ages. It was dated September 12th, 1985. Let me just read the first part of this. It says, Dear brethren and co-workers with Christ, since last December I have been working diligently on the largest and most important book of my life. See, this is talking about Mystery of the Ages. In real fact, I feel I myself did not write it. Rather, I believe God used me in writing it. I candidly feel it may be the most important book since the Bible. It is named Mystery of the Ages. Okay, I'll stop reading from there. I want to point out some things here. Mr. Armstrong, who was an apostle of Jesus Christ, I will remind you, felt that he did not himself write it. So in other words, he felt that God or Jesus Christ inspired that writing. So here's another, stop right there and think about it. If that's true, and I do believe it is, then how dare anyone come along and alter or edit this book or any of his books? He goes on to say, I candidly feel it may be the most important book since the Bible. Well, I have to agree with that statement too. If it's the most important book in the Bible since the Bible was written, and I believe it is, then how dare anyone come along and edit and alter this book, especially for their own motives, for their own ulterior motives, and to help streamline and fit their agenda. I just want to point out something here. And I've stated this many times on my website, and we should all know it. Again, this message is addressed to all the churches of God out there, anyone who was willing to listen. And regardless of what group you're in, if you were once in or associated with the Worldwide Church of God, you should know what I'm talking about. So the writings of Mr. Herbert Armstrong, they are the written record. See, they're the written record of the publishing of the true gospel. You look in Mark chapter 13 and verse 10. You see where Christ said that this gospel has to be published, see, in all nations, and indeed it was. So those writings of Mr. Armstrong now are the written record of the publishing of that true gospel. So again, I've stated this many times recently, how dare any of us deny the power of our God that he did through that man in the end time. See, that publishing of the true gospel. So men today want to come along and they promote themselves into various offices and titles, prophets, apostles, pastor generals, you name it, and they think they have the authority now to go back and edit and change these writings of Mr. Armstrong. And they may have the civil authority to do it, but they don't have the spiritual authority. And I'm here to tell you that on the authority of Jesus Christ, because they're watering down and polluting the truth of God. Simple as that.